We were so close to breaking $50,000 on our print-on-demand Shopify store last week. If you're new to the channel, this is the series where we are building a print-on-demand store out in the open using Facebook ads, Shopify, and Printify. It's a very basic business, just t-shirts, a couple of ads, and our own website with a basic theme. I'm doing this because I think a lot of people talk about Etsy and Amazon as the print-on-demand, and I don't think a lot of people recognize the huge opportunity and advantage to doing it on Shopify. Just take this store for example. We just started it on July 1st and has already done over $500,000 in sales. But what's more than that, since it's done at least $100,000 in profit, that means that the equity that we've built up in the business is around 2 to 3x on that. Instead of it being $100,000 profit, it's add another $200,000 to $300,000 on top of that when we go to sell the business. Because we have things like our own traffic channels, our own customer list, we own all of the data and analytics from Google Analytics, and there's a lot of assets that we're able to sell. Whereas if you're selling on Etsy or Amazon, it's the opposite of that. They own everything about your business. They could cut you off just like that and you're done overnight. Without further ado, let's take a look at our sales for this past week, then break down our profit and loss statement, how much we spent on the ads, how much Printify charged us to fulfill all the orders, and how much we ended up making at the end of the day. So like I said before, we did $49,773.29 in sales, which is up 15% from the week before. And sales were relatively consistent, doing a nice step up throughout the week, starting off at $6,381.24. Then fast forward a couple of days, we did $7,391.53, which is up 50% from the same day on the previous week. Then we did $6,921.60, another 7K day, and then just under $8,000. Then we wrapped up the week with a Sunday of $7,658.83. Our average order value was slightly higher this week at $44.50 as we sent 28,223 sessions to the store. Our conversion rate stayed pretty much the same at 3.46%, and we had 1,033 orders. Our returning customer rate surprisingly was even lower. It's only 10.3%, which that tells me that we need to put more effort into our email and remarketing and our customer service. On the ad side, in our Facebook ad account, we spent $13,942.32 during the week. And the ads ran at a 2.6 ROAS, which is pretty solid. Anything around a 2.5 we're really happy with. And I shared this last week, but our top performing campaigns have been our manual and our CBO. I talked about some of the specific campaigns last week, but really briefly, our manual bid worldwide campaign has been performing well for us. Our dynamic product catalog CBO, which is just our product feed straight from our Shopify store, and our retargeting really crushed it this week, spending $400 at a 5.5 ROAS. And if looking at the ad account seems like a foreign language to you, that's fine. It looked like that to me too when I got started. That's why I just did a 2-hour in-depth training that you can go check out for free. It's on the channel somewhere. And I walk through all of the strategies and step-by-step, what buttons to click, how to set up and launch your first ads. But the ads that we're running are pretty simple. Just give you a sneak peek from the long training. They look something like this. Just a simple product image with fairly straightforward copy. What it really just comes down to is testing a ton of different designs. Like in this case, we launched a store with 50 to 75-ish, and the way that we got it to really start taking off is by testing every single one of those designs in ads. So I was taking mock-ups straight from our Shopify store, testing every single one of them until I found one that really clicked. And you'll see this in the training, but I load all of them into the ad library, then I test them in our testing campaign, and then once they've proven themselves in the testing campaign, basically if they're getting 50 to 75 cent cost per clicks, if the ROAS is over a 2 to a 2.5, we're seeing those kind of signs, then I'll store them here on deck until they're ready to be graduated to a main campaign. And that normally comes about when one of the main campaign's ads starts to die out or gets fatigued. It's basically just been running too long. We have some ads that are running in here for 2 to 3 months that they'll probably die out somewhat soon. And luckily, we're going to have a bunch of ads that are ready to go. Next up, we have Printify, which if you're not familiar with print on demand, you should go watch the 2-hour training I did on that topic about how to set it up from scratch. But basically, print on demand is when we come up with our own designs to put on t-shirts that Printify then fulfills whenever an order comes in the door. So a customer pays us $26.99 for the t-shirt. We turn around and pay Printify around $8, and we use Monster Digital Gildan 64,000 soft style t-shirt. So we make the difference, $18-ish. Then there's some tax and stuff in there, and then there's the shipping fees, which pretty much just net zero because we charge that onto the customer, and that's where the profit comes from, is that difference there. And then another important thing is we try to boost our average order value. We don't try to get customers to buy just one t-shirt. We want them to buy 2 to 3 ideally. That's why our free shipping threshold is set to $75. If somebody buys 3 shirts, they get free shipping, and that helps us out because on average we're paying about $16.89 per new customer. So we can either pay $16.89 for a new customer who buys 1 shirt, which would be about break even, or we can pay $16.89 for a $75 cart. Which one would you prefer? So obviously the much bigger cart. And that's really the way that this model works, is not from customers buying 1s and 2s. It's by incentivizing them to buy more and more. And that's just on the cold traffic. There's a whole bunch of email flows and ways we get people to come back to buy from us again and again. But I'll leave that for a separate video. And this past week, Printify charged us $22,587.10 for fulfilling our products, which may sound like a lot, but our goal is to keep that number under 45%. Anything in the 42 to 43% range is good. And it's also good because we didn't pay any of this until we actually had the revenue come in the door. Basically, the cash flow works as like this. We make 10 grand in sales, and that takes about 2 to 3 days to settle into our bank account. In the meantime, we have about 4 grand in charges that we owe to Printify, which that goes on the credit card. We have, say, another 3 grand that we owe to Facebook, which that also goes on the credit card. So that's 7 grand, plus you have your overhead and transaction fees, so call it 8. We have 10 grand in revenue that we're waiting to hit the bank account. So while that's waiting, those charges are sitting on our credit cards. It settles in the bank account on like the second or third day. We pay off the credit card with the bank balance, and then we're left over with the difference of $1,500 to $2 grand. So that's why looking at these numbers may sound like a lot, but the cool thing about this model is that it doesn't require hardly any working capital because it's just a cash flow business. As money comes in, that's when it goes out the door and not before. And we did $3,818.89 in discounts and refunds, and we had $1,915 in Shopify and PayPal fees. This number can be slightly deceiving, but these are our transaction fees, just how much we pay Shopify and PayPal for the privilege of being able to swipe credit cards. But it's a little deceiving because it's slightly higher. See, these 2 days looks like it's 0, but that's just because it takes a couple of days for the Shopify balance to settle. There's a little nuance there to be aware of. And our total ad spend was $16,784.46, which out of that, only $483.94 was from Google. Our overhead expenses, which is our software, our team, like little odds and ends, came out to $791. Talked about this in previous videos, but our goal with our overhead expenses is to keep it under 2%. As long as it's under 2% of overall sales, we're in a pretty good spot. So if on any given month we make, say, 100 grand in sales, we want our overhead to be under 2. And this month we're on track for around $200,000 in sales, so we're trying to keep this number under 4,000. Then we had $790.55 in our Printify 5% rebate, which is just a discount that we get on our cost of goods because we've done so much volume with them. Then our Capital One 2% cash back, which is the card I was talking about where all of our expenses go, that adds up pretty quickly. And this week we made an additional $467.56 just from the credit card, which is also nice because it's non-taxable. It's post-tax income, so it's basically just free money at the end of the day. Then not listed here is our Amex Gold Card. So we use the Amex Business Gold Card for all of our ad spend. So that's where the $14,412 from Facebook and Google went on. And the reason we put our ad spend there is that it's one of the categories that you're able to get 4x points. So with the Gold Card, you can get 4x points on your highest spending category, on your highest qualified spending category, one of which is ad spend. And so when we put $14,412, that comes out to roughly 60,000 points. 60,000 points. If you spend it on the right things, like airlines is the best way to spend Amex points in particular, that's about $600 to $750 in airline dollars. And then you can select one airline to get 25% back. So if you spend $1,000, you get $250 back. So that bumps it up to, say, $900 in value. And then when you book flights through Amex, you plug in your loyalty number and then you get miles. So you earn points to spend with the airlines, which is free. And then you get 25% back, and then you earn miles from the airline by using your loyalty number. So it's a little nuanced thing, but that there adds like another $1,000 to $1,100 in value. Obviously, it's not as good as free cash, but still pretty nice. Now, not including any of the point stuff. And our total net profit for the entire week was $11,473.74. That gives us a total net margin of about 21%, and our ads ran at about a 3.6 overall. And our cost of goods was about 42.5%, which is right in the range that we want it to be at. And again, I'm not showing this to brag in any way whatsoever. My only goal in sharing this is to teach people, one, about the opportunity, but two, about how easy it is to get started. Not easy as in effort, like it definitely takes effort and willing to learn, but it's a fairly simple process and it's much more attainable than a lot of people would think. So hopefully you guys found this useful, and I'm here for you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section what I can help you with and what you want to see in future videos. I'm also thinking about making a community where people can like talk and share the problems they're having, something like that. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, just let me know and I can put some more thought into that. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.